Good morning. We are here with Daniel Tamayo, who will be speaking to us about his experience working in Brazil. Before we begin, can you give us a brief overview of your role at West Hills Community College?
Good morning. Sure. My name is Daniel Tamayo. I'm the Director of International Programs at West Hills College, and my responsibilities are mostly traveling overseas and doing outreach for our community college in Central California.
Thank you. From your experience, what employment practices exist in Brazil, and how did you prepare for your visit?
Before my first trip to Brazil for this project that we worked on, I had to do a lot of due diligence, and what this meant was I had to do a lot of homework in terms of how I would conduct business in a country that's the fifth largest country in the world, and it's one of the most populous countries in the world of over 200 million people. So I had to do a lot of homework in order to determine what was the best way that I can go there and be productive and see the outcomes that our college was seeking.
Thank you. What are some important cultural factors one should take into consideration when arriving to Brazil?
First of all, something many people, businessmen, overlook all the time about Brazil is they don't speak Spanish. They speak Portuguese. So it helps to have your literature, your brochures, all your marketing material, and whatever you will need translated into Portuguese. That's the first step. Many people make the erroneous mistake of believing that people in Brazil speak Spanish, and they will be highly offended if you show up with marketing material in Spanish.
Can you describe the business culture of Brazil compared to that of the United States?
The business culture is very relaxed. It's very casual. When you schedule meetings, you can expect there to be delays. You can expect them to be canceled at the last minute. I remember one of the first times I traveled to Rio de Janeiro, I had a business meeting. The person did not show up to my meeting until 3 hours after the scheduled meeting. This is something very unusual, but not unexpected in a country like Brazil.
How would you compare the economic wealth and businesses of Brazil to that of the United States?
Brazil's what's classified by world economists as a middle-income economy. Within the past 10 years, Brazil's have become a major global powerhouse economically. Back in 2000, Brazil, along with Russia, India, and China, was classified as one of the four powerhouses of developing economies that would drive the world economy. Many politicians, economists are cognizant of that. Again, Brazil has over 200 million people. They have a lot of natural wealth. They have a lot of natural resources, human capital. So it's not on par with the United States in terms of GDP, but they're a growing economy. And other than what situation they had 2 years ago with the ousting of their president, they are still on a trajectory of moving up to a higher income country.
What has been your experience with public security and crime in Brazil?
It's very, very dangerous. I remember being in a cab in Sao Paulo, and I didn't think for one moment when I lowered my window, it's because it was hot, and my cab driver shouted at me. He's like, "Please raise your window. We can be assaulted." And something so innocuous as what we take for granted here in the U.S. of just lowering your window because it's hot, you can't take for granted, but it can be really dangerous. You can end up in the wrong part of town, whether in your Sao Paulo or you're in Rio, any of the major urban areas of Brazil. You just have to use your a lot of precaution, and think about what you're doing and where you're going.
What was the most interesting thing you experienced or would like to share about your time in Brazil?
I was just amazed at how kind and generous people were, and I was also impressed with people really would like to establish long-term relationships with you. They would like to get to a common goal when you're doing business there. They do want to see you be successful. They will help you. I brought with me a lot of good experience in terms of they really value relationships, so they will not. In general, they will not create or establish a business relationship if they perceive you as someone that they won't trust you.
Okay, well, that concludes the questions for the interview. I'd like to thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.